Alright guys, how's it going? So after my last two videos, as a YouTuber and as a kind of educator, I feel as if you always should pay penance when you do some sort of drama post. So maximum effort here. So today I'm taking a look at Blender's outliner. Now, if you're an advanced user, consider this more as a refresher course. If you're a new user, consider it as a basic introduction. Now, Blender's outliner is pretty much fundamental when it comes to the workflow of Blender. And just to give you an example here, if I select the cube, you'll notice that it's actually highlighted in the outliner. You'll also notice that there's kind of icons here on the right hand side. Now, these are great ways for quickly going in and out of edit mode. Now, depending on the object, you might actually get a different result. So if I select this kind of green triangle, it'll automatically put me into edit mode. If I select it again, it'll go back into object mode. And this is a great method for quickly jumping in and out of different objects very quickly. Now, I have an armature here, which is essentially a bone. And I have two different icons. The first icon, the one that kind of looks like Michael Jackson, that actually puts me into pose mode. And that's a kind of quick way to remember, just remember Michael. Oh, I should edit the video there. And the second one here will actually put me into edit mode. So remember, Michael Jackson is pose mode. The other one that's kind of dabbing will put you into edit mode. Oh, I've completely lost this tutorial already. Continue on. So that's basically one functionality. Anything you select inside of the viewport will be selected here. And it kind of works and vice versa. So if I select Suzanne here, it will select in the viewport. Now, you used to be able to do a box select, so if you press B, it'll bring up the box select, and I can actually select everything. But you don't need to do that anymore. They've kind of changed the UI, and all you do is left click and drag, and you can select everything. If you press A, that'll select everything in the viewport. If you press Alt and A, that'll deselect everything in the viewport. Now, let's say for example, I select the cube first, and then I press Shift, and I select the sphere. You'll notice that the first thing in the chain is a deeper orange and the last thing in the chain is a lighter orange. Now, if I select Suzanne, it'll then change these to a deeper and this to a light. So the last thing selected in the chain will always be a lighter orange. Now, the reason for this is because of parenting. So let's say, for example, I want to parent the cube to the light. No idea why, but just in case. Now, what I can do here is I can actually select both, or I can select the cube and outliner, I can drag it down to the light, and you can see this kind of indication, Control to link or Shift to parent. So when I press Shift, it will actually now parent to the light. And that's just a quick way. It saves you selecting two objects and then hitting Control P, which is a parent command. So that's pretty much the basic fundamentals. Now there is a few kind of shortcuts that you can use, and I'll just bring up the Blender documents just to give you an example. So if you use the up key, it selects the previous element in the list, down selects the next, shift and up, previous element without the deselecting. If you've ever used a file browser in your life, it'll be pretty much intuitive. Left to close the data block, right to open it, shift and left to close all the children. So if you have like a huge list of bones, you can quickly close and open things up. Now on the right hand side here, we can quickly hide in the viewport. Now these technically will still render. If you don't want to render them, what we can do is we can actually come up to this flask and we can filter on different restrictions and toggles. Now this one here actually disables the selection, so if I select Suzanne, I can't select it inside of the viewport. And this is great if you have something like bones that you don't want to select. So the next one here obviously hides in the viewport. This one here disables in the viewport, and this one here actually disables in the render engine. So if you untick the camera, it won't be seen by the render engine and it won't render. Now if I quickly jump back into the restrictions, you can actually see that we have a whole bunch of options here. We can sort alphabetically, which is automatically ticked. You can do a sync selection. When you're searching, you can actually enable exact match. So if you have a specific name that you need to find very quickly, exact match might come in handy. Now in terms of filters, we can hide things like collections. We can also hide objects, object contents, and if you just want to kind of tidy this UI up and make things a little bit more streamlined, this is where you would actually use the filter. Now you can quickly search for objects in the outliner by using the search field, and you'll notice that it automatically finds it, and that's a great tool, especially when your list gets huge. Now when it comes to the UI, if you press Control and Space, it'll automatically expand, and this is great if you just quickly need to get in and out of things. So just to go a little bit further, you can actually right click on objects in the outliner, and this will give you the basic context menu. You can do things like copy and pasting, selecting, deselecting, things like this, and it does come in handy at times. If you want to make a new collections, I think of them as mini packages. So if you actually make a new collection, what you can do here is you can actually drag objects into a collection, and this is great. Sometimes what I do is I put lights in a collection and I put my camera in a collection, and you can see here you actually get a visual indication what's inside of it. So this is telling me, look, there's actually a mesh in it. If I drop the camera into the collection, you'll now see I have a camera, and I can quickly select these very easily. I don't need to drop down the collection in order to select an object. So this is where it actually comes in quite handy, and you can make a nice tidy workflow. Now this is just the basics of the outliner. I highly recommend you actually read the documentation. It is a huge application, like I mentioned, and there is quite a few tricks that you can do. This is technically classed as a view layer. If you come up to the icon up here, which is a display mode, we can change the display mode, so we can actually click on scenes, and that'll give us everything inside of the view layers. It'll give us collections, it'll give us objects. If we go from scenes to maybe Blender file, now inside of the Blender file, it actually tells you, believe it or not, what's inside of the Blender file. Who would have funked it? But it's actually very good if you're needing to find like an image and you don't know where the material's stored, or you need to find some sort of object or a mesh. So use the Blender file if you're actually struggling to find something. And you also have things like data API, and the data API is actually very informative. I think of it as an attribute spreadsheet. Not as good, but it kinda is a little bit. It'll tell you things like how many lights are in the scene, are you using brushes, how many brushes are attached, and it's pretty informative. Now, like I mentioned, it's a very basic tutorial in terms of the outliner. It's a huge application. If you know any tips, put them in the comments down below. I love reading them. Do me a favour, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, it costs you absolutely nothing. Follow me on Twitter, you know what to do. Peace.